Day. Chicago Hockey Radio, back to Zoom. Justin Lynch, Lee Grossman, Tassos Kirkos, and Raven Gasser production-wise. Welcome back, everybody. We are live and in color on Zoom. Once again, Justin being back in Ohio, but it is a Hawks game day. The Calgary Flames are in town, and the Hawks need a win very, very badly, coming off of two poor performances on the weekend, I guess we could say. Some lineup changes we're going to get into, a Bedard point streak coming to an end. Fellas, how we feeling today?
Yeah, no, it's a new week. I mean, Monday, normally not my favorite day of the week, but you know what? It's a reset, right? It's a fresh start. playing a Flames team that is somehow still in the playoff picture. I mean, I think it's a team that a lot of us wrote off before the season. Even as the season started, right? They got that hot start. We're like, oh, it's not going to last, right? They're frauds. Well, they're 1 point out of a playoff spot. They win this game tonight. They bump the Canucks out and get back in. So I don't know, boys. I mean, we might be this team might be better than we thought. But yeah, for the Hawks, hopefully they can get back on track here against another Alberta team, and hopefully Betsy can start another 9-game point streak, right?
As far as games this season that I've like really wanted this Hawks team to win, it was like Winter Classic, and then right below it is this game tonight against the Calgary Flames, for several reasons. One being that I don't want to have a Calgary Flames tattoo on my body at the end of the season. Thankfully, though, actually not thankfully, Dustin Wolf is starting for Calgary tonight. We're gonna have to have more than 20 shots on goal tonight if we're gonna want to win the game, quite frankly. So we'll see how it goes. I know they've been talking about effort a lot in the locker room. They're gonna have to have an effort tonight if they're gonna beat this team with how this guy's playing right now in net.
Yeah, Dustin Wolf has kind of owned us this season. He kind of won them both the games so far this year. So a big part of why they've had the season that they've had is his play. I mean, he's definitely in that conversation with Celebrity, Michkov, Hudson. He's probably the fourth guy in that Calder race. Yeah.
I think it should be higher up. I think it should be like Hudson, Wolf, Michkov, Celebrity.
Celebrity's last, obviously, right? Yeah, we all know that.
A win tonight would propel the Calgary Flames into the second wild card spot ahead of the Vancouver Canucks, although they are already there based on points percentage right now. So get the ink ready. I told you, we're doing the tattoo here. Like when you have to get a Calgary Flames tattoo, not if, when. I'm gonna ask a tattoo artist buddy to like come in here and ink you up.
I like it, a practical Joker style. But look at the Canucks, man. 10 OT losses this season / shootout losses. That is insane. They're on pace for like 20. That is wild. So, yeah, I'd almost prefer the Flames again there. I feel like they deserve it more. But, yeah, we'll see. That should be a fun race there.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, you throw St. Louis in the mix there. I don't want to say that the hockey club is really in there, but I guess if the Blues are in it, then so are the club. But I think this is a 2-team race here between Calgary and Vancouver. So I think Lee's going to.
It really is, and it's just because of Dustin Wolf.
So are you going to yeah? Are you going to become the biggest Canucks fan down the stretch here?
Yeah, I'm going to get a PD jersey probably before he gets traded to Chicago.
Oh gosh,
I've been seeing a few rumors about that lately. I mean, maybe it's not totally out of question. I mean, we could talk about maybe what a potential package could look like. I know we've already discussed it a little bit with Greg Boyson, but I don't think that's totally out of question to put that out there. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So I should mention before we dive in too much to the weekend, Winter Classic vlog came out on Friday evening. If you happen to miss any of our weekend content, and this is the first time you're listening to us since Friday's show, that vlog is out. Raven worked really hard on it. It's really good. So juice that up a little bit. Go give it a watch. It's definitely a fun watch. You can get an inside look into us recording the studio, us bouncing around the city during Winter Classic week. We threw some clips over from us Justin and I at the game, and the college games too. It was a lot of fun. So definitely watch the Winter Classic vlog. Also check us out on Discord too. Join us on Discord. And we picked a giveaway winner for the Wayne Gretzky's thing. So thanks to everybody that participated in that. You'll be getting a DM from us shortly. I didn't do it before the show. I said I was going to, but I will be doing it after the show. So you'll get a DM from us if you won the contest. And if you didn't, be in the running next time. Like I said, we're going to do Hawks tickets before the end of the season. So be on the lookout for that. Maybe in like the next month or so, we'll roll that out. That should be fun. But yeah.
We're going to announce the winner on Wednesday or something? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we could, yeah. Just, I don't think, unless they want a personal shout out.
They might not. Yeah.
We can ask if they want a personal shout out, but if they do, we'll give it to them totally.
Cool.
All right. Where do you guys want to start here?
Can we start with this lineup? Do we want to start with?
Yeah, I think let's start the best news of all. The lineup. The one change. I mean, the forward lines are the same. Mrazek's and Nets. So I guess that's the other change. But the big change: TJ Brody finally scratched huzzah. We've only been calling for it for like a month here in the show. I believe it's the first time he's been scratched under Anders Sorensen, so hopefully not the last two. Hopefully it's the first of many. Why Kaiser draws back in. So yeah, happy about that. I think that's been a long time coming. His play has warranted that. So yeah, good to see. Good to see. Against the Flames too. I think that's kind of funny. That's his former team over
Yeah,
there.
kind
So,
of kind
yeah.
of bogus to do it now against his former team, but whatever. He is the defenseman with the worst plus minus on the team. I think we all know what a bad acquisition it was. Not to pile on, but yeah, we're paying him over $3 million to play hockey for this team this year, and we're going to be doing the same thing again next year. So I don't know what the plan is going to be for him because he's been consistently our worst defenseman pretty much all year. So it's a bit of a stinker situation. On the bright side, though, we called for this during the live stream and the post game the other night. Is he's keeping the kid line together of Doc, Nazar, Reichel, which I think we all admitted not have a very good showing in their first game together. But as we also brought up, some of those guys only played 7-8 minutes. So hard to really do anything in that amount of time. And they didn't give up a goal. So, yes, they were hemmed in their zone for pretty much the entirety of the time they were out on the ice together. But at least they didn't give up a goal. They're getting another look tonight against a team that, yeah, they're flirting with a wild card spot, but this ain't no Edmonton Oilers. So let's see how they do tonight. Obviously, we're all praying for their success because we would love to see a full line of real Blackhawks for the rest of the season. So
I think that's a smart move. I mean, it's a good move because it shows that Sorensen is different from Luke. Because Richardson would have gave up on it after one game. He would have done that. He actually explained his reasoning here. This is his quotes from Sorensen from Ben Pope. When you get one game, it's tough, especially when you don't get a lot of minutes together, as you said, Lee. If you switch it right away, it's hard to build any type of cohesiveness or chemistry at all. So we'll give them another look here and see where it goes. So yeah, I think you just got to let him marinate there. Give him a few games, and I'm sure they'll start cooking there. So I like the potential of that line. We talked about a lot. So yeah, hopefully a better performance today, as you said. Yeah.
Tassos, how do you feel about time to scratch TJ Brody? You think it's
Yeah, I mean, it's been past time to scratch TJ Brody. I coming from a guy that watched him a lot in Toronto and watched him deteriorate over the last season was really poor for him. When his first couple of seasons in Toronto were really good, he was a guy that they could play on his offhand and it wasn't too unfamiliar for him. He could play the right side as a left shot guy. And the drop off last year was really steep for Brody, like really, really steep. And then, yeah, they bring him in this year and the contract is what it is. And it's got another year on it, which, is probably what got him to Chicago in the first place was that second year of the deal. And I mean, like the drop off has been even more so than what it was at the end of his time in Toronto. And I mean, it's not good. I don't necessarily believe that, him and Martinez were what was needed. We talked about this with Greg Boysen on Friday that Kyle Davidson did a lot of like 2-for-1 shopping. He got two guys where he could have gotten one guy for, if he had just gotten Martinez, that probably would have been better than Brody and Martinez, Maroon and Smith. And you know what I mean? Like maybe just one of those guys
There's
would have
so
been.
many kids at Rockford, right? It's a
Yeah.
logjam of players. I'd rather see them up here, right?
Yeah, and I look at a guy, do I think Louis Crevier still should necessarily be in the lineup? Like, I know I've dogged him quite a bit on this show too, but I find it really hard to believe. Like, we're watching the games, we're watching the tape. It's not like he does anything that makes me believe that he should have a spot over other guys on the team, right?
He's a size merchant, right? The 6'8's intriguing. I think that's why they want to give him a shot here. But I feel like there's, defensemen at Rockford like Phillips, Del Masho, etc., probably more deserving of being up here. But easy to say.
I would love to see any of those three
number
guys up: Del Mastro, Phillips, or Krasinski.
Yeah, Levshunov isn't ready yet. He needs time. For those of you wondering, yeah, he's not ready.
Crevier, though, has been better defensively than any of these young guys that we've played on this team. I know his numbers might be a little conflated because he's pretty much primarily played with Alex Vlasic.
Yeah.
But he's a -2 in 14 games, and he's averaged more time on ice than guys like TJ Brody, who's a -18 on the games played he's had this year. So I think, yeah, to your point, it's the size and the fact that he doesn't bleed goals like some of these other kids, is why we've seen him regularly. I think we all know he's going to have to develop other aspects of his game if he's going to be like a true NHL defenseman. But I think he could do it. He's so damn big and he's got what seems to be decent defensive instincts so far. So I think he's only a -2. I think they're gonna keep playing him, to be honest, because it seems like that Vlasic Crevier combination has kind of worked well, similar to like how the Murphy Vlasic combination kind of worked well, because it's like now Vlasic can be the more offensive guy on the pairing, which is nice versus when he was playing with Seth. He's more of the shutdown defensive guy, and Seth's the offensive guy. So I'm okay with Crevier and Vlasic. They're the Twin Towers back there. They're fucking massive.
Damn it, I was gonna say Twin Towers, but you beat me to it. But yeah, another young defenseman I want to glaze here. Nolan Allen's had consecutive games of primary assists. I mean, it's probably not going to be his game. He's not, a very offensive defenseman, but he's shown it's in his arsenal if the team needs it. I've been really impressed with him all season. Somebody in my comments was like, "Wyatt Kaiser's clearly better than him. How could you grade him?" Because I did a midseason grades thing. I'm like, I don't know. I look at the two defensemen. I think Allen's, considerably better. No disrespect to Kaiser. I think he's a good skater. He's been playing better since the call up, but like he's been scratched more often. So clearly, what does that tell you? Clearly, the team thinks that been more impressed with Nolan Allen's play, but I digress. That's another topic there.
Oh, you know what? Though I agree with you, though. Like, I agree that Nolan Allen's been significantly better.
Yeah, and he hasn't been sent down all season, right? Whereas Kaiser has. So that's another point there. I mean,
and those two are playing together tonight, supposedly. So that'll be interesting to watch. I feel like we haven't seen too much of them together since Brody's been in the lineup for like most of the season. So it'll be nice to see them playing with each other as opposed to playing with TJ Brody. And we'll see. Maybe it's going to have a positive effect, or maybe they're just going to get destroyed by
two young defensemen together could be a recipe for disaster. So hopefully that won't be the case, right? But I think it's better than being paired with TJ Brody, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Martinez and Jones tonight is the other pairing.
Yeah, Martinez had a good first game back, so hopefully he can carry that forward. And he's at least competent, unlike, TJ Brody keep talking on him. But yeah, good to have him back from injury. Hopefully he can stay healthy the rest of the year, right? He does have only the 1 year left on that contract, so maybe he's a guy we look to move at the deadline. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully good to see him back, and hopefully he can help out Seth's game as well, which I will say Seth Jones has been strong. I know he had a good game against the Avs, but otherwise, since he's been back from injury, he's just not been the same defenseman. He's been struggling. We need him to be better. Yeah.
Are you two content with no changes to the forward group?
Yeah, I think that's the move, right? I'm glad he kept the kid line. I didn't think he would, so I'm glad he kept Knazar Reichel together. I think that's a smart call. And yeah, the rest of it, I think Bertuzzi, Bedard, obviously we're not going to break them up. Maybe somebody else up there other than Mikhail, but I get it. I mean, Turbo, that line had such a good game. Turbo, Dickinson, Foligno, I understand not changing that. Then it just leaves the fourth line, and Kurashev's not going to draw back in the way he's been playing. So I understand no changes to the offense.
Sorry, I'm looking at different things here. I'm looking at Money Puck right now for some of the different advanced stats I want to try and maybe get into here at some point. Any surprise that it's Mrazek going tonight?
Nah, I'm not really surprised. I mean, I think Soda had a fine game against the Oilers, but maybe not good enough to work consecutive starts. He didn't come away with the win, so it wasn't his fault. But yeah, I mean, going back to Peter, not really surprised. Although it must be said, last time they played the Flames did not go very well, and the Flames actually could. I think they could sweep us in the season series today. I think this is the last time we play them all season. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But Peter hasn't really fared that great against them this year. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that this team wants Peter to be the starter. So, you're not going to, I don't think you're going to be seeing Soderblom consecutive starts again unless he, stands on his head in a game, gets like a shutout or something like that. I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Because Peter's their guy.
Yeah, maybe use him as a potential, like get that trade value up, right? Could use him as a piece there when Brossoit, if he ever does come back, which at this point, I'm not even sure if he will. Like Greg kept joking about, I'm not even sure if he's actually here. Like, I haven't even seen a picture of him, like, since he's been with the Blackhawks. So I don't know what his deal is, but, eventually that will be a conundrum. But, yeah.
I don't know what his deal is. I think he's had like 3 surgeries.
Seriously, like, it's like, is each surgery failing or something? Like, I don't understand what's going on over there. It's such a weird situation. Goalies can be weird at that stuff, though, right?
Is tonight what game? So they've been the new thing for the rest of the year is clumping games together in 5-game segments.
Yeah, what is this?
Because that's going to move the needle for this group. Tonight, is it considered?
I think it's game
It's
4.
game
They're 1 and
4.
2 so far.
Okay.
So if they win both, right, they have the Flames today. I think they have the Preds Thursday. So they got to win both, I guess, to come away with a successful segment, whatever that means. But yeah, that is something they're doing. I think there's a clip on that, actually. Maybe we could get to eventually. But yeah, I'm not really sure what the thought process is there. Maybe just break it down to clumps, make it, short-term focus versus long-term focus. Who knows? I mean, we're over halfway through the season. We're still figuring out these basic concepts here. So that shows how the season's gone.
Also, just like, I don't know, I feel like more often than 5-game clumps, you hear
Just
teams
one-
really focus on one game at a time.
Yeah, I think that
Right.
makes more sense.
I think you're just like asking to get more frustrated because then, like, if say you lose tonight, it's not just like, oh, we lost tonight. It's like, oh, we've lost 2 other games in this clump already, so now we're 1 and 3. I don't know if that's gonna do any favors for this team's mental fortitude.
And we're a last place club. How many 5-game segments have we come away with at least 3 wins? Like, I don't think that's going to happen very often. So, and that it seems to be the way that, they talk it. It's like, oh, you got to win more games in the 5-game segment for it to be a good segment, which I don't know. Makes no sense to me. But anyway.
What I will say is, like, being around some teams and stuff is like, in a game, right, you'll try and break it down into you'll try and break the game down into 5-minute period or 5-minute chunks, right? So you'll break like the first period down, win the first 5 minutes, win the next 5 minutes, win the next 5, win the next 5. Then you do it in the second period, you do that in the third period, and if you win enough of those 5-minute segments, you win the hockey game, right? So I guess this is like taking it a step further than that and backing it a bit out, like, hey, like, we're going to do the stuff in the game, but like each game, you can't look at it like, you can't look at games in like a 10-game stretch, but also, excuse me, like a 3-game stretch is a little too much, or too little bit of a sample size, right? So, I get what they're trying to do here. I just, I don't know that you're going to walk away from too many 5-game segments with a winning record,
It's more something that contending teams do, not us, like rebuilding teams worrying about how much games they're winning in 5. And maybe it's more than just winning the games. If you play well during those 5 games, it's another thing. But anyway, it just seems a little arbitrary. Yeah.
Would you be able to go back, like the record this far into the season, would you be able to clump any 5 games together and find yourself with a winning record?
We had that 1 3-game winning streak. That might be the only time because, like, I think other than that, we've only had like one other time we've won consecutive games all season. So I don't think there's a lot of 5-game segments, maybe 2 at most, that we've come away with more wins. We have to do more digging into that, but I guarantee you that's a very low number. I don't think it's really going to change here. So, yeah.
It's probably just a way to like try and be more positive about it without actually, actually doing anything about it.
Yeah, it's all talk. Like, that's what it is.
Fantastic.
Right? It's back to like the identity stuff and the play 60 minutes. It's just something to say, something to give to the media. Like, oh, this is a change. We're changing the guard here, right? But we're not. It's not really. It's all talk. It's no action. It's not going to change anything, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, where do you guys want to go from here? Do you guys have any cleanup from the weekend? The Wings game, the Oilers game. Tale of 2 games here a little bit. The Red Wings one kind of got away from them, early and often, and just the second period obviously was atrocious. And the Oilers game on Saturday, we were live streaming it. They go up 2-0 after 1, they go up 3-1, and then they choke it away at the very end there, and the late power play goal from Zach Hyman sealed the deal for the Oilers. But any cleanup from the weekend?
Just like for me, I think it's like something we talked about on the post game the other night was that I think we've had like 2 power plays in the past 3 games combined or something crazy like that, and we need to possess the puck more in the offensive zone. Like, if we don't ever have the puck, we're not going to draw penalties. If we're not getting 20 shots on goal, we're not going to win games. We need to be more effective in the offensive zone. And, I don't know how much of it is like you can learn from mistakes or how much of it is just like this team doesn't have enough talent to really possess the puck in the offensive zone for extended periods of time. But like, you look at a game like tonight, if you play like how you did in the second half of that Oilers game, or how you played the entirety of the Detroit game, you're not going to beat this team because you're not going to get past this goalie, enough times with only 22 shots, 23 shots on net. So they've got to be more effective on offense, and maybe leaning on those young kids who are not as defensively reliable, but might be able to do a little more for you offensively could be something to try to take advantage of here tonight.
That's the thing. Like, this team needs to possess and get shots, and generate, those power plays because they're not going to win a lot of games at even strength, right? We know how bad this team is at even strength. And the power play has been a strength. I think it's like 12th in the NHL. The penalty kill has been good too. Special teams has not been a problem. So if we're not getting those chances in the power play, like we're not going to come away with a lot of games here, right? But you got to get the puck and possess it and generate those, draw those penalties to get that going, right? Yeah.
How do you think the Blackhawks go about trying to generate more opportunities? Because it's not like, you just throw a bunch of shots on net. Like if you do that, like a lot of them are going to get blocked.
And just giving the puck up then.
Yeah, you're just giving the puck away. And it's not like, sometimes I watch, I know I relate things to the Maple Leafs a lot, but I watch the Maple Leafs a good amount. And, sometimes it's almost like they're looking for the perfect setup, And it's not like the Hawks are necessarily doing that. It's not like they're hanging around with the puck too much, just like looking for the perfect thing that they just can't get.
Because they never have time and space, man.
Yeah. So it's like, how do you go about trying to generate more shots? And then we work on trying to generate quality shots. But how do you just generate shots in general?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, like this team isn't very like talented. We don't really have the personnel. We're like, it's not a surprise that we're getting outshot and outpossessed most nights, so it's not an easy fix there. I think a part of just find the right combinations, right? I think we have good combos here. I don't really think that's the problem. I think this is probably as good of combinations we can have on this team. So I think it's just a matter of like find that consistency but it's not an easy fix. Like I don't really know that. I don't really have the answer to that question, to be honest with you.
I don't think it's going to be combinations that we need to be looking at. The defensemen have to get up in the rush. They have to be active in trying to contribute in the offensive zone. And then we've got to get bodies in front of the goaltender and drive pucks to the net. Yeah. Like, not to be, the most cliche hockey person ever, but we don't do enough of any of that stuff. And so where you lack in maybe offensive talent, you've got to make up with more guys contributing and being willing to go to those dirty areas. Because it's like, we've only got a couple of guys that like do it consistently. I feel like it's like Bertuzzi a little bit likes to get net front. It's Ilya Mikheyev and it's Ryan Donato. I feel like everyone else are trying to be like perimeter snipers. And it's like, let's get net.
I'd throw Colton Dach in there too. The problem is he only plays like less than 10 minutes a night. So I think if you play that kid line more, I want to see that line get more ice time today. They shouldn't be playing less than 10 minutes, right? More looks. I still think that line could cook here, and I think a lot of production come through it. But to your point, another guy in a hot streak here, Teravainen quietly has 17 points his last 13 games. So good to see from him. He's had a really streaky season, really up and down. So I wouldn't mind reuniting with Bedsy one of these days, but I mean, I think the way that line's going right now, I understand keeping him there for sure. Yeah.
So I'm looking at Money Puck right now, some things like expected goals for and stuff like that. And the Blackhawks right now, so their goals for above expected, they're sitting at a minus 1.25, which is actually like pretty middle of the pack, meaning that like based off of the chances that they're getting, they're only a goal and a quarter away from what you should expect a team to get that's getting the opportunities that they're getting. You get what I'm saying?
So, a little bit. That doesn't sound good, though.
Well, considering when you look at the last team in the league right now is the Nashville Predators at minus 28 goals for expected, which means that the Predators have gotten goalied a lot. It means that they're having some trouble finishing. But for me, that means that it's like the Hawks aren't a bad team at finishing. They just aren't getting the looks that they need to. They're not getting the quantity of looks that they need to get throughout a game, right?
Well, we've seen it the last three for sure. I mean, they've been outshot like 35-20 every night. So yeah, I could definitely see that. I think maybe they were struggling with finishing in the Richardson era, but under Sorensen, I think we've been scoring a little more, but maybe haven't been getting enough chances. But so if you get more, you theoretically you'd score more. If that makes sense, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Although
shout out to Big Dog in chat pointed out that Calgary's penalty kill is only at a 70% clip right now.
That's got to be down there.
If we're able to get on the power play, look out. This is a team that we should be able to score on.
Yeah, fortunately, as long as Dustin Wolf there isn't, but yeah, he's obviously been an issue for us this season. But yeah, to your point, gotta get on the power play first. But I think we're due a few, right? We're due some good karma there. I mean, what, 2 power plays the last 3 games? Yeah, I think we're due for some calls here.
Yeah, ref talk a little bit. I know we said that we never really do ref talk and that we always kind of stray away from talking about the stripes, but
I'm just realizing I never looked into it. Did any of you look into it where the Hawks might rank in the league for penalties or power plays for the season? I feel like they're down there. I have to think they're near the bottom. I'm just guessing there, but
maybe
I would assume we are just
because
because we never have the puck.
oh yeah, to your point, like we're not possessing the puck and I can get a lot of power plays. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look. Oh, penalty minutes against. Is that what we're looking for? Yeah,
Like just power plays or that too, I guess. Yeah.
Hawks are 21st. They have 280 penalty minutes against them,
Yeah, so
Oh,
and 233 taken by their opponent, which ranks 30th.
okay. That's what I would have expected.
you were
yeah.
cooking. You were up to something there, Justin.
I knew it, yeah, because the power play's good. It's like it's just outside the top 10. I think it's still 12. So it's like if they could just get more power plays, like we'd be scored a lot more. Real big brain stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we could just score more goals, we'll win more games. If we could just win more games, we'd have a better season.
I'm sound like that one F1 commentator, Will Buxton, right? The driver who finishes first will win the race. Like just real big brain analysis by yours truly over here.
We've got a Rangers fan in chat asking us to do Rangers talk, which I don't think
stick around for the NHL hour.
Stick around for the
NHL hour.
NHL. We'll
Yeah.
maybe do some Rangers talk later.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't really give a
He
crap
did-
about the Rangers.
He did ask
I'm not
a good
gonna-
question about, is Anders the answer? Would you prefer a seasoned coach? Which we've gotten
No.
into that plenty of times.
Yeah, no, Sorensen's a stopgap guy. It's like the Bears with Thomas Brown. Like he's not going to be. That was a stopgap coach for them. Hawks got to find a real coach in the offseason. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I still think they made the right call though. Like I'm glad they fired Luke and instilled Sorensen. I know the results haven't been that much better, but I do think, like Greg Boyson said it's funner hockey to watch. Maybe not better, but it's different. And the kids have been producing. We've been seeing kids on this roster. It's a much younger team now than it was a month ago. Benzie's been doing better, so I'm still happy with the move. But I haven't seen enough from Sorensen where it's like he's the guy. It's not really that much different, right? So yeah.
I love how analytical chat is being today. They're saying that we need to be better at the face-off dot
Oh yeah,
and raise
that
the
too.
percentage because we're starting every shift on defense.
That's a great point, right? I mean, that's going to help with possessing with like that initial draw, right? To generate those chances and kind of the cycling. It's like the Hawks, you lose that first draw every time, then you're chasing the rest of the shift. By the time you get the puck back, you got to change, and that just the cycle repeats itself. So, yeah.
I would love for this team to become face-off merchants for the rest of the year. Just like focus it, just every single practice, all you're doing is taking face-offs. I'd be okay with that.
I think Yannick Perreault is still the face-off coach of the Hawks, if I'm not mistaken. Father Gabe Perreault. So yeah, hopefully he's working on that with Bedsy and co. And because they could definitely use some work there. I saw every game I check it, it's like 60+% for the other team and 40% for us. It's like that needs work for sure.
Okay.
Some other stuff here. I think I don't know if you ever mentioned it. Connor Murphy was placed on injured reserve. He's been out for a bit, but he was just placed on IR week to week for him. Craig Smith has a back injury again. We don't really have a timetable on him though. And Martinez is obviously back. We saw that, but I just wanted to get that stuff in there.
Well,
Murphy's got a groin injury.
I was just gonna say Murphy's got a groin injury, which is pretty brutal. Like that
Could be
not easy to play a National Hockey League game when you have a groin injury.
It's not easy to do really anything with a groin injury.
Yeah, I feel like every year he goes down with something. So that's unfortunate. He's actually played probably some of his best hockey as a Hawk. He quietly had a decent season, so it's definitely a shame to lose him in that back end. But at least it provides more opportunities for young D-man on the flip side, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe that's one trade piece though, because I know Murphy. I saw him in a few rumors, but now if he's going to be out, that might hurt his trade value. Maybe that's a guy who maybe we thought could be moved and maybe won't be now, but we'll see. Yeah.
Did you guys see this Levshinov Lewinsky stuff?
Yeah, what's going on there, Rockford? Levshinov was scratched. I think Joey Anderson, a couple other guys were scratched as well. I don't know, maybe it's just an illness, maybe it's just a healthy. I think he's been playing well enough where you wouldn't scratch him, but maybe a little underwhelming. But I don't know what's going on over there. in
Well, so
Rockford.
I heard that like that Levchinov was like signing autographs after the game and was there and everything. So like if it's an illness, that's probably not how you'd be behaving. So kind of
Yeah.
weird for just like a random healthy scratch. I think
Is there a
they
roster move coming?
dude, I don't know. I think they skated with like 11 forwards. So
That's very odd. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Speaking of Rockford, they announced yesterday they're going to have the All-Star game at Rockford, so that's something to look
That
forward
was
to.
the big announcement that we were waiting for from the
Yeah, I
Rockford
thought it was
Ice
going to be
Dogs.
something a bit bigger than that. I mean, I guess that's pretty big for Rockford, the city of Rockford, but this is Chicago Hockey Radio. But
We might. Well,
yeah,
honestly, we might have to be
we'll
in
have to
attendance
go.
there.
Yeah, maybe.
should we change our podcast to Rockford Hockey Radio?
No, please,
I
God,
think
no.
that Ice Dogs team next year, man, it could be pretty stacked. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of Hogs in that game. Unless they're on the Hawks, we'll see. But
That's
yeah,
we should call it that every time we do prospect talk.
Rockford Hockey Radio.
Yeah.
unless we're talking about Roman Kantsarov.
Yeah.
Speaking of Roman Kantsarov, he did have a goal over the weekend.
Jesus Christ.
There's 4 players in the KHL right now who are at a point per game pace. 3 of them are veterans, and one of them is a 20-year-old, prospect for us, Roman Kantsarov. It shows you the season he's having over there. We got to glaze him every show, so I just got to get that in there. Yeah, you fed me the you laid the bait there, and I took it.
He also just played his 100th game for his team, which is pretty cool, and he scored a goal in that game. Dude, it's every single game. It's like another game, another Kantsarov goal or assist. He's different.
I wish we didn't have to wait another year for him, man. I wish there was a way to get him out of that contract, but at least sometimes overripening for a KHL guy is not a bad thing. It worked out for guys like Kaprizov. So yeah, 26, 27. Yeah, I think the wait will be worth it.
Especially if he's at like 1.5, 1.6 points per game next year, and we're just like salivating.
What if
the season.
What if his production dips next year?
I'll cry.
Yeah, the thing is, he's missed like half the season too. Like, so if he's fully healthy next year too and plays the entire season, like that could be huge, for his confidence boosting leading up to the NHL. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We might have to go to that Rockford All-Star game, All-Star weekend. That'd probably be pretty fun.
You guys ever been to Rockford?
I've been
to
once.
Rockford.
I've been to one Ice Sox game. They played the Wolves. I couldn't tell you what year it was. It was a long time ago, but I've only been to one game. Yeah.
I've never been to a Hogs game, but I've spent a decent amount of time in Rockford growing up. It's a fun place.
I played a hockey tournament there too,
It's
actually.
a fun
twice.
place. Pump the
Yeah.
brakes there, bud.
Nice.
I mean, besides Ice Hogs, what is there? Nails? I mean, what's screws? That's what they're known for. Yeah.
It's a really pretty place. Really nice people. You got good food, and it's nice.
Good food.
Yeah.
Small town
Lee,
rural
big Rockford
America.
guy.
Dude, I every single year I'd go for soccer tournaments and would like stay in Rockford for a couple of days. So I'm very pro Rockford here. Not to do Rockford talk, but
Do rock talk.
What's the population there? It's got to be top 5 in Illinois, right? Illinois,
Yeah.
Springfield, Rockford's probably what 3 if I had to guess. I could be wrong. Yeah,
I don't know. You also got like Naperville and Elgin, but
yeah. Chicago merchants there.
Oh, I guess
Chicago
Rockford
Land
has a Bass Pro Shop there.
that'd
nice.
be sick. We do a little Bass Pro Shop vlog.
Oh,
Justin-
is fishing big over there?
Justin, to answer your question, Rockford has 146,000 people.
Damn.
Okay, nice.
Where is that in Illinois cities? Just to really,
Top 5. I'm gonna guess third.
entertain
Just to-
everybody today to the
just to
max.
round
I
out
believe
Rock.
it's the
That's
fifth largest city in
damn it.
Illinois.
Yeah, I said top 5. I was close.
Can you give us the top 5?
I mean, Chicago, Aurora, Juliet, Naperville, Rockford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, interesting.
Good to know.
Expanding on prospects here. He's not an Ice Dogs prospect, but did you all see Nick Lardis's highlight reel breakaway goal the other night? That was unreal. What a season he's having over there. If we want to expand on prospects, I swear every game this guy's scoring goals. Probably one of the more underrated in the system. So good to see that as well, for sure.
Yeah, maybe a couple of first line wingers that we're talking about
That
here.
goal was so nasty that he scored.
Yeah, that was sick, right? Yeah. What a season.
Fellow Greek.
That's right. Yeah, we'll have to get him on the show sometime.
I'm gonna have to get him on my team this summer.
You guys need him?
Yeah.
Not looking good this year?
No. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
We'll
Maybe I
come
could
back for
pretend.
vengeance.
I could pretend to be Greek or something if you need help over there. I mean, I'm kind of washed though.
No, our team last year was really gross. I had, not to do Greek hockey talk now, but I guess if we're doing Rockford talk, I might as well plug my own personal endeavors. So I had a bunch of kids last year when we played Jamaica and Lebanon and Puerto Rico. They let me fill up my team as much as I wanted, so I pulled a couple of old OHL guys. Lardis was gonna play, but it just didn't work out. Who did I have? I had a couple of like NCAA kids, Harvard, Long Island University, one Dallas draft pick, George Figueres out of Cornell. So yeah, he's gonna play in the show for sure. But yeah, all right, that's my Greek hockey talk.
That'd be sick if you could get Lardis to play this year, and then we'll have him on the show after.
That'd be a squad.
I'm sure he'd love that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Maybe he would. No. He would love to come on the show, I'm sure.
I've heard he's got a CHR's his like iPhone is his phone background.
Oh, really?
Is that right?
Yeah.
I think Kansas would come out. I think if we just learn English over there or give him subtitles or something. I don't know.
Can we start taking like Russian classes so that we can speak with Roman Kanserov?
I think he's taking English. I think you guys thinking that he doesn't speak English is probably a bit misguided.
Oh,
yeah, probably, especially since he seems to be like on social media a lot. I think he probably. I mean, I'm sure he speaks more English than I speak Russian. So
yeah, sukum that. That's the extent of Russian I know. I don't even know if that's Russian.
No, I think these guys are like prepping for coming to the NHL, and he knows he wants to come to North America at some point here as soon as his contract's up. So he's probably like learning English on the side here as like a little passion project. I don't know. It's kind of it's not like. I don't know, but I do think it's like goofy that Matvei Michkov like comes over here and he'll learn English. I know Michkov's a young kid, but I'm surprised that wasn't something he was working on already a little bit. And the other part too is there's a difference between like talking to the media and talking to your teammates too. Some guys like using translators to talk to the media because they don't feel super comfortable talking to the media like that in English, but they will like try the English and learn English around their teammates too. So, I'm sure all those guys are learning it though.
I wonder how Patrick Kane's Russian is after playing that season and a half or whatever with Panarin and Anisimov. Maybe he knows.
Probably pretty decent, yeah.
Probably not.
I swear I recall him saying maybe he was just joking around that Panarin was teaching him it or something. I don't know, man. That was a long time ago. I think that sounds like something that would have happened to me. Maybe I'm probably bullshitting.
All right. What else do we have tonight? We have clips. I didn't know.
Should we listen to someone?
Yeah. Do we want? You got him ready, Raven?
Yes, sir. We got Dickinson and Martinez. Who we want?
Let's listen to Jason Dickinson first on goal setting.
Yesterday, you guys are breaking the second half into 5 game segments, and probably not on track to hit the goals for the first segment right now. But how can that help the team longer term?
Sure, we are. Our segment only just started 3 games ago, so right now we're down 1. So 2 more games in the segment. If we win the next 2, pretty decent segment. Good start to what we want to create here. So in those segments, there's also small segments per game that, if we can do certain things per each game, we can be satisfied with what we did, not we can be happy with what we did and not satisfied with the result. So tonight, I don't know what the small segment looked like for tonight. I haven't gotten a chance to see results, but there was a lot of good, not enough good, obviously, because they get that power play goal to put us down 1, and we just could never respond.
Man, they're really leaning into this like 5-game segment thing.
That's why I threw it in there. Yeah, it's like they seem like they're actually taking it pretty like seriously over there, not just a bunch of BS, right? So, and he even said himself, right? If we can win these next 2, that's what I was referencing earlier. If we win these next 2, that's a good segment. But it's like I don't know how realistic that is. I know we're playing the Flames and the Predators, but the Predators as bad as they are, always own us. So I don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah, I just feel like you're putting yourself in a horrible position. Like you're
never gonna be satisfied.
Extra emphasis on games that you don't really need to be. I don't know. It's just like I feel like the negative effects are not being acknowledged by the room, because it's like if you lose to Calgary and Nashville, you're like, oh shit, well, if we can't do this in this 5-game stretch, how are we going to beat anyone?
Well, you lose this game, it's already,
It's
not
already
a good
done.
segment, right? It's already because you're
Already
1-3.
done.
If you win Thursday against, a shitty Predators team, it doesn't really change anything, right? So I don't know. I'm not really sure what I'd love to hear more from Sorts and his just why this came together. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super goofy. All right, let's round up the clips. Let's hear Alec Martinez.
What's important over this last part of the season? What do you think you guys can achieve, or just what's important, I guess, from game to game?
I mean, I think you got to take steps as a group. Things like tonight, obviously we had a really good start. Get out to a 2-0 lead, and this group has got to, we got to take steps, and we got to learn that you got to put together a full 60 minutes, and that's about details, and that's about habits, and I think that's is lacking in our game, or what's not consistent in our game. And obviously when you're not doing that, you're not you're allowing teams opportunities to get back in, and the longer that the longer you play with bad habits, the more opportunities you give up and put stress on us. You end up playing more in the D zone. And it's a snowball effect, and you get the result that we got tonight.
Yeah. Just not good enough, man. Like, it's just not good enough. But
How many times have we heard 60-minute efforts in these interviews, man? I swear it's the same thing every time. That's kind of why I included it as well. It's the same talk all the time.
Can you add that to like pucks in deep, as far as like the most basic hockey media responses?
That's what he got. Nothing. Like, you just say something to say something. Like, that's what that talk is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear you could put me in front of the media and just tell everyone I'm a player on the Blackhawks, and nobody would be able to tell a difference. I'd be able to say
Pete
all
Grossman.
All right. So Dustin Wolf, instead of just, talking about him, here are the numbers. 6-1-1, .930 save percentage in his past 8 starts for the Flames. They sit at 20-14-7 right now. They reached 20 wins in the fewest games since doing so in 39 games in the 21-22 season. Keep in mind, guys, Dustin Wolf, he's 23 years old. He was a 7th round draft pick. He was actually the last pick in the draft. If I'm not mistaken, or he was one of the last. He was one of the last picks in the draft. I remember that when he got drafted, it was like a big deal. And this guy is like, I don't know. And not to like, I hate bringing up players that have been disgraced by the National Hockey League or have disgraced themselves. But, he came from the same organization as Carter Hart. And, Carter Hart was a really, really, really highly touted goalie prospect coming up. Won CHL goalie of the year twice, I'm pretty sure. And totally, disgraced himself and the rest of his career. And I hope he never plays another pro hockey game again, to be honest with you guys. But Dustin Wolf has been like, the guy that was like the 7th round draft pick that then went on to replicate that sort of success and also won goalie of the year twice in the American Hockey League and an MVP in the American. Like, to win an MVP as a goalie, as like a young 22-year-old kid in the American, like, that's nails. Like, that's so nails. And then we could maybe even tie this into the Hawks here a little bit, but I'm just reading like the tee up for the game here. But Wolf has allowed only 8 goals in his past 5 games too, which is just ridiculous. And
it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say it's probably most kind of goaltenders we will get like these late round steals and stuff because they're kind of picked all over the place. But still, I mean, it picked like one of the last picks of the draft, and he's probably one of the most decorated, goalie prospects in the game now, and probably one of the best in the show. And he could just at every level he's played and he's been him. So it'll be tough for the Hawks to solve him. But Hawks do have something to play for tonight. They win today though, they will move out of last place. So there you go, boys. Move up to 31st potentially. The Sharks are still only one win, 2 points ahead of us. So for all that media talk about how much better season they're having in the rebuild, that's a bunch of nonsense. So, but that's the difference in the California market original 6 team.
To go back to a couple more seconds of Wolf talk, I watched the highlights of the game against the Kings on Saturday. Dude, this guy is unreal. The first period, I think they got outshot like 17-3, and then still won the game. Like, this guy just stands on his head. Unbelievable. people in the comments were like Kings fans being like, geez, this is like prime Quick that we're watching right now. So this kid's sick, and it's scary. If this is what he's doing at 23, what is he going to be doing at like 29, you know?
That's the thing. Like, there's a lot of goalies that could keep you in games, but there's not a lot of goalies who can win you games, and he's one of those goalies. Like, he could just
Yeah.
single-handedly take over a game. And there's not a lot in the show now that you could say that for. Yeah.
And here's the thing. Like, if you're Calgary and you're the Flames, like, this is a team that's, you know, kind of in this weird middle phase right now where, you know, Jonathan Huberdeau's good on him for, like, turning it around this season. He leads the Flames in scoring. Naz Kadri's had a really good season. Matt Coronado looks excellent for them. You know, the Connor Zary injury sucks. Like, that, it's a brutal injury. That player's so fun to watch. And I don't know if you remember in the Taylor Hall interview that we talked about on Spit and Chicklets, they asked him who a player was that he think that they asked Taylor Hall who is a player that he thinks is super underrated, and he said Connor Zary, that he's just hanging on to the puck all the, like, they played when the Hawks played Calgary earlier in the season, that he was just hanging onto the puck like the whole game. But this team is kind of interesting because they exist in this weird state, and I'm going to tie this back to the Hawks here. Watch how I do this. But if you're Calgary, you have your franchise netminder, you have your Mika Kiprusoff, you have your, you know, your guy for the next 10 plus years if you don't screw this up. Now I was watching the San Jose Sharks. I was watching the Sharks game against the Minnesota Wild on Saturday, and the Wild won that game, but boy, did a man named Yaroslav Askarov keep them in that hockey game. Now my question to you fella is like, what do the Hawks do about this goaltending situation long term? Like, that seems to be the piece here that they're missing out on. And everybody's kind of like got their guy, you know, for the most part. Like, even, you know, the Red Wings have like a Sebastian Cossa in there that I don't think they'd be willing to give up on. The Wild have Jesper Wallstedt, and they have Philip Gustafsson, who's been unreal this year. You know, do you think the Hawks should have been in on a guy like Askarov more, made it more of a competitive bidding war instead of, you know, the Sharks getting him? I know it was a steep package, but like, I don't think they wouldn't do that trade again. I would do that trade, you know?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, the Hawks don't have an obvious, like, that's their guy. Like, they have 3 potential options, but are any of them going to be, like, elite goaltenders? I don't know. Like, Soderblom is put himself into that conversation, which we would not have thought a few months ago. Cabesso has been having a better season at Rockford since the call-up from the Hawks. He's been having a better season. He had a bit of a slow start there. He could be a guy, but we don't know for sure. Guyon's been struggling, unfortunately, with Minnesota Duluth, but again, he's still young, so he can still figure it out. So they have 3 potential options, but none of them are surefire, like, things for sure. But I think with goaltending, though, it's the easiest position to solve, like, you know, free agency, whatnot, trades. Like, you don't always have to find them in the draft, too. So I just don't know if that's the Hawks' like #1 priority right now, but it will become more of a priority later, especially if none of these guys pan out. But I'd say it's a good shot one of them does. Yeah.
It is very hard, though, to find a guy, as you just said, like, there are guys that can keep you in games and there are guys that can win you games.
None of them are, they're all in the keep you but not win you.
It's pretty hard to find guys that can win you games through trades, you know? And I think it's pretty clear, like, this Blackhawks organization thus far through this rebuild has not prioritized goaltending or obviously the forward group as much as they have, you know, the defense group. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe they address it this year in the draft and take a guy with one of those 2nd or 3rd round picks that we've got like 90 of. But yeah, I don't know. We definitely don't have a guy anywhere near the same stratosphere as Dustin Wolf. So I think something that we need to be mindful of going forward with this rebuild.
That's the thing. Like, I say 2 of those guys, like, I mean, they could be options, but I don't think either of them are close. I think Cabesso still needs at least another year at Rockford, and Guyon, yeah, like, he's got his whole college career ahead of him there. So, like, I think both of them, like, are a ways away. Even if they do make it, like, we won't see them probably for a while. So in the meantime, I guess it's Soderblom, but then who's after that? Nobody. So yeah.
Yeah, I question if, like, you know, and I'm not saying the Hawks should be Calgary, you know, but that it's nice that if the Flames decide to go into a rebuild here, you know, or even like a rebuild on the fly, you have your goalie that's going to develop with your team as they go through that, you know, and as these pieces come in. Because, yes, if I were Calgary, I'd try and be in the Gavin McKenna race, you know, next year. But if you look at the Sharks, it's like, oh, they've got this guy that's going to grow with those other guys that we, hate so much on this podcast. But I'm just kidding. We don't hate Celebrini or Will Smith or any of those guys. But I think it's interesting that the Hawks don't have that guy. It's not like Camesso is like right now the starting goalie or looking like it that could grow with the team right now. I don't know.
I will say one thing. I'm not saying he's going to be him, but if there's one goaltender who overhyped the hell in Rockford, was there for a while. It kind of, I don't want to say he came out of nowhere, but he wasn't really expected to be the starting goaltender for those Hawks teams, and those were some really damn good Hawks teams. But Corey Crawford kind of came along, he didn't really come along with those Hawks teams. His first season was 10-11, right, when they were already established. They just won a cup. So I'm not saying Camesso could be that guy. I think he's still young and still figure it out. I think he's been having a better season now. He just had a shutout the other night. So again, I don't think he's in that Askarov limelight. He's not going to be an elite goaltender, but he could be a starter. But yeah, I think sometimes goalies just take longer. No one has to come along with the rebuild. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I just thought that was a fun conversation to have. And, we'll see. We'll see how the Flames perform tonight. Mackenzie Weegar's having a really nice season for them, too. Blake Coleman, who was lights out last season, is kind of, so-so this year. Same with Michael Backlund. Rasmus Anderson at one point was leading this team in scoring and has sort of dipped down the ranks. He's now 8th in team scoring. So,
Yeah, last time we talked, I think he was leading the team in scoring.
Yeah.
So it made some progress there, right? But yeah, this Flames team, it's funny. You look at it, it does still feel like they're overachieving here, right? You look at the roster, it's not that impressive. So it just goes to show the season that Wolves had. But it's a deep team, right? They're players. There's depth there. Maybe not a lot of star power, but, there's not a lot of, I guess, kind of nobodies like this team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of these guys that are in the Calder race, not to do Calder talk here, but are any of them as valuable this season as Dustin Wolf has been to Calgary?
I think, especially if the Flames, I still don't think they will, but I hope for Lee's tattoo they do. But if the Flames make the playoffs, I feel like you got to give it to him. I don't know if he will. It's probably going to go to Celebrini because, they want to try to, prop him up. But I think in terms of value, I think Wolf has had the most impressive season. And I think that's facts.
Yeah, my pushback is the Calder isn't the most valuable rookie to his team. It's the best rookie, right? So, yes, Dustin Wolf is probably the most valuable rookie to his team because his team, a lot of the players that are generally in contention for the Calder are usually on teams that suck, So
it's the best rookie. So it should be Lane Hudson, right? Gotcha. Okay.
Yes,
Carry
Lane
on.
Hudson.
Carry
Hudson's the guy.
Yeah, I feel like you could make the case that Hudson and Wolf are the most deserving, but it'll probably go to one of Beachcloth or Celebrini. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, some interesting note from chat here. Marty Pospisil, revenge from the
that's
game.
right. That's
I forgot
right.
about that.
Somebody's got to drop the mitts. Somebody's got to drop. I need to see some repercussions for those Betsy Nazar hits. Somebody's got to, put that guy on the ground. But not.
What if he tries to run through somebody again tonight?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. These guys, you can't be allowed to do that. We can't be having that. No. Popsicle. We can't be allowing this.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. You guys got to talk while I'm drinking.
Oh, my
water.
bad. I was taking
Yeah.
a swig. My bad.
Someone said Pospy 6'2", 173. Kind of thin or no?
He doesn't play like it, to be honest. So
That's all that
That's what I'm
matters.
saying. Yeah, you can
He had
play bigger than you are, right?
He looked good in that LA game. I know I haven't watched too many Calgary games this year, but he looked pretty good. So I don't know. That guy might be
Flames in LA.
a dude that turns into a somebody out of nowhere. But yeah, I think somebody's got to try to hurt that guy tonight because that was,
Not too bad though. We don't want to, But yeah.
Yeah. Well, a couple of headshots at my boys.
keep
Come
in
on.
mind, Ryan Lomberg too. If you're talking that Flames LA game, LA. Yeah, you got the reference.
LA.
Justin. I got the
Yeah.
reference.
Letterkenny reference.
Yeah. Ryan Lomberg's a tough customer too. That's a tough Flames team. They don't really back down from a lot.
They love
too.
dogs. They got to play that way, right?
They really are. That's who the Flames' identity is. What the Blackhawks want their identity.
But we don't have the players for that. We don't have the personnel. Yeah. That's a fair point. Like they can grind away with these games. Like despite lacking some talent, and they got that goaltender in net too that could kind of prop them up. So yeah.
The more we talk about these two teams, I'm getting like actually excited for this game tonight. And normally I look at the Calgary Flames as like a team I'm never interested in. But
Also,
there's some stuff at stake tonight here.
Also, that's the game that Betsy's point streak started, right? He had 3 against them. It just ended, obviously. So maybe he could start another one against them again today, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
One
I just wanted to mention because you brought up the point streak. So his point streak obviously ended against the Oilers. Bedard still has 38 points this season. And he had 4 goals and 12 points during that 9-game run. And this was interesting too from the NHL.com. Teuvo Teravainen, he has points in 5 straight games, I think, too. He's on a run of his own right now too, and his 30 points this season are second among signed free agents this season from another team. Do you know who is first on the list?
Oh, I should know this. Damn it.
Signed from another team.
Signed from another team.
Gensel, right?
Nope.
Right. What? I don't know.
It is Sean Monahan of the Columbus Blue
Oh,
Jackets.
yeah. I knew it was in there somewhere.
Sean Monahan has 41 points this season, and he's injured right now.
Well, Gensel was a trade, right? That wasn't. I was on to nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. I know the Hawks are looking at him, but yeah, he's had a hell of a season there. But yeah, terrified. Yeah, he's second, most productive for the Hawks, which is probably what you'd expect of this team. And quietly having like almost 60-point pace. I mean, he hasn't always been the first line at Betsy too, so he's kind of done what we expected. I mean, I know a lot of people want to dog on Kyle, but I'd say that was a good move from him. Bringing him back. Yeah.
All right. Final score predictions for tonight.
I feel like this is one the Hawks. It's a very winnable game for the Hawks, and I don't think we're going to get swept by the Flames. Both times we played them, we play them at Calgary too, and the Flames are always very good at home. They're a much different team at home versus away, kind of like us. So I'll say the Hawks avoid the sweep and come away with a low-scoring 3-2 game. Yeah.
I was going to say 3-1. I think this is a totally winnable game, and since I'm saying that, they're going to end up getting pumped somehow.
That's the way it works, right?
But yeah, I do feel like this is a spot that we should win. It feels like the motivation's there in the locker room right now, especially with they need this one for their 5-game.
The segments, man, that's everything. The segments.
Yeah, the segment is everything. So tonight is a must-win for this Blackhawks room. So I'm willing to predict a win against a team like this in a must-win.
All right.
I'm going to give 2 final score predictions, one for if they win and one for if they lose. If they win tonight, the final score is going to be 4-3 Hawks. And if they lose, the final score is going to be 4-0 Flames. They're going to get shut out.
All right, fair enough. The Hawks haven't been shut out this season, I don't think.
I don't think so either, although I was going to say that. That's
that
why
feels
I
like
said.
that.
And they never shut out anybody either. So there's never been a 0 in a Hawks game this year. Somebody could fact check me, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
We will fact check during the break,
Yeah,
but I totally
fact
think
check.
that we're setting up for the Hawks to get shut out tonight, I think.
Oh, God.
Which
No,
would totally derail the 5-game stretch here.
Oh, boy.
And then you have to wonder, like, if they lose tonight and the 5-game stretch is already donezo, like, what is Thursday going to look like? Holy
Against
cow.
the Predators, oh boy. The fact that they're still only 3 points ahead of us at this stage of the season, can you believe that? Like, this is literally who they are there. Like, they're frauds. They're going to be fighting us for the draft lottery. So, yeah, that's going to be a tank bowl. Yeah.
You were right, though. No shutouts on either end all season.
Boom.
Really?
Yeah.
I wasn't even looking at anything.
Not a single
man,
donut on the board. The only donut on the board was the second preseason game against the Red Wings.
Ah, okay.
I would have no way of remembering that. So
yeah,
good,
no.
Good call there.
You don't remember that game, dude? It was sick. They won 2-0 and no, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it'd be cool if they could go the whole season without getting shut out, but like I said, that being said, they're gonna get bageled tonight.
I'm sure the business to the social media team would find a way to like promote that. They're like, come pay tickets to watch this team who's never gotten shut out all year. It's like, well, they're last in the league, so
we have hockey sticks, a beer. Go purchase those. Yeah.
Also, before we go to break, I do want to mention that I am famous. We are famous on Instagram now because my comment on my comment on Hockey Forever's post. I don't know if you guys saw how many likes my comment is up to.
Yeah, like 1,500 or something.
1,573 likes on this comment of Connor Bedard asking a little kid asking Connor Bedard who his favorite actress is.
Hi, yeah, Mom. Yeah, you can quit your job now. All right.
Yeah, we're famous, guys. We did it.
Well done. You've been popping off with the comic game over there, and Lee as well on X's too. So yeah, I got to step up my game over here.
Yeah, I'm turning into Lee.
Up.
I'm turning into Lee with the amount of Instagram commenting I've been doing. It is what it is, dude. Lee goes to war with people in the comments on different.
Oh yes,
posts.
he does.
I'm willing to die about this shit, bro.
It's pretty funny. You do it from your personal though too.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just do it on my meme account.
All right. Well, that being said, if you're new here, which I think we got a couple of newbies in the chat,
welcome.
Welcome. Follow us on Instagram at Chicago Hockey Radio. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and leave a 5-star rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Helps us out greatly. We're going to take a quick break and come right back with NHL Hour. Keep it here on the other side. NHL Hour, Chicago Hockey Radio, CHR. Justin Lee, Tassos, and Raven bringing it to you live. Welcome back. Where do we want to start? I know the Red Wings are going to be the major talking point here, and the Patrick Kane point streak and all of it, and how good they look under Todd McClellan, getting themselves right back into the wild card race here. But yeah, thoughts on the Red? Let's just jump right into the Wings here.
Yeah, 7 wins in a row for them, most in the Yzerman era. Patrick Kane has the most points in the NHL since Todd McClellan's took over. Look at these stats here. It's like vintage Kane is resurrected. 8 games, 5 goals, 13 points. And he's just named, I think, the 3rd star of the week for the NHL as well. So, yeah, Patty Kane looking like himself there. Every time you think this guy is done, every time people start to call him washed, he proves them wrong. He takes it personally. So, great to see it. And, yeah, for Detroit, all of a sudden, you're like, I think, what, a couple points away from a playoff spot here, 2018-4. I mean, they're in the mix here, boys. I mean, it's a tight race in the East, and they're in it. Is it sustainable for the long run? You know, it's probably going to come back to earth eventually. Maybe it's just a new coach bump, but they've been playing a lot better, and it must be said, a lot of the veterans have been playing the way they should be. So, yeah, it's been fun to watch.
I think Tassos has talked about it on the show like numerous times, but with teams like this, it's like, yes, they've had a very impressive run of games through the past 5 or whatever it is. But now you gotta show me the next 5 or 7 games. You know, you can't fall off a cliff, kind of like Ottawa did for a bit there. If you're going to make the playoffs, you have to be succeeding like this throughout the rest of the year. Because they kind of, I know all those teams are a little bit in the mix, but they did dig themselves in a bit of a hole. They're now finally above 500, which is good to see. But yeah, it's you got to continue to do this. You know, you can't just fall off and have 3 games in a row just getting battered by mid teams. But obviously, it's sick to watch Patty Kane playing this well. And I would be completely lying if I told you that I don't want this team to be in the playoffs, because I would love to see Patty Kane back in the playoffs, selfishly.
Ditto. I'd love to see that as well. I mean, he was 1 point away from seeing that last season, but we know that went. Yeah.
I have to say, I thought he was kind of cooked, fellas. Like, not, you know, I know he's Patrick Kane and he's the greatest American-born player of all time, but if part of me didn't think that he was kind of done and he was just going to wallow into obscurity here on this Red Wings team that looked like it was going nowhere for the first 40 games of the year, you know, they've totally flipped it around, and he's totally flipped it around, and I don't know.
It's been to the main factor almost. You know, he's been insane. That the game against us, it was like vintage. Like
he was the best player on the ice.
Dominated us.
And he was even out skating guys too. It's like that hip was like, I mean, it wasn't even an issue, right? So, good to see that, right? It's good to see. You want to see a guy like that go out. You know, he's not his prime self, right? We know that, but you want to see him go out swinging, right? You don't want to see like these star players you watch as, you know, in childhood just kind of crawling away as, you know, to end their career, right? So good to see him still playing at that rate. And he's been playing a lot to brick. I think it's been a big part of it, right? Lalonde wasn't always playing together. They had that dump and chase system there. So McClellan just kind of kept things simple there. You know, they're just playing hockey and it's paying off. Yeah.
Do you guys think he's going to stay in Detroit?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit
I think he likes it there. I mean, I think for now, yeah. I mean, for the rest of his career, we'll see. But I don't think he's really, I know it's a 1-year contract, but I don't think he's leaving there anytime soon, to be honest.
How old is he now?
36.
Yeah. 36.
Yeah. So
How
I mean,
long
at that
do you
point,
think he plays till?
I think he could play till his early 40s. I don't know if he will, but I think he can. I think he has the mind, right? I mean, that's never going to go. His passing's always going to be there. His shots kind of come back too with that resurfacing surgery. I think he could still play, you know, I think second line minutes, right? So top 6 on a contender. He's not, obviously he's not as fast as he used to be, but hasn't really been an issue. His speed's never really been his game, right? Patrick Kane slows the game down, right? He outthinks his opposition. He's got that hockey IQ. So I think he'll stick around for a while, man.
He's never been a guy that's relied on like his physical attributes to succeed. No. It's all about slowing the game down, looking for passes and sniping them home. So he's said before that he like wants to play like into his 40s. So I think it's going to come down to like how well he can compete defensively, to be honest, because it's like that's always a guy you can throw on your top power play unit and is going to do damage regardless of how old he is. But it's like, will you be able to still trust him at 40, 5-on-5, you know, against top young talent in the league?
So I'm looking how much exactly he is behind Mike Modano right now.
It's like what, like 60 something?
Depending
he's
on how updated this Wikipedia page
Kane's
is here.
1,311 points. Modano,
Is he at 1311?
yeah, what is Modano? Modano's like
Modano's
1,300.
1374.
So he could get that next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily. No question. I think he's 19 away from 500 goals, too. I think he's at 481. So definitely a few milestones are within reach there. I think Brett Hall is 1,391 because I know sometimes there's like the differences. And I know Modano, obviously American, but sometimes they want Paul in there because of the citizenship thing. So, yeah.
So, and look, like I know this is a Chicago hockey show, and you know we do talk a lot about the Blackhawks, and you know the Red Wings are a big rival of the Blackhawks, but hockey's better when the Red Wings are good.
I agree. Yeah, and it's been a long time since they've been good, right? I mean, they've been the off since 2016. Poor Larkin, they made the playoffs his rookie year, and he hasn't seen it since. So, for the Wings, I don't know if this is the year. I'm still not fully, we need to see this for an extended period, like Lee said. I think there's probably better teams here that, probably get the All-Star then, but they're knocking on the door, and they got a bright future there. So
this is kind of what they get, though. I remember in those early 2010 years, fighting. Now that I think about it, I've been arguing with people on social media for so long because I remember like fighting with kids back in the day, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we've made it to the playoffs 23 years in a row. Oh yeah, well, congratulations this year. We make it to the playoffs every year." This is kind of what they get for being snarky like that. Now they go on 9 years without a postseason appearance. So I'm not going to say I feel bad for them in any way, but I think Tassos is completely right. I think the league is better when Detroit is in the mix.
Just all the original 6 teams in general, that includes Chicago, right? So for sure.
True that. We'll see. They could do it this year. They just got to keep playing like this. I think you're gonna need Larkin, Raymond, etc. to really ball up the rest of the year. You're not gonna be able to just have Kane lugging this team into the postseason. If he's going to be the top guy, I don't think they're going to be able to do it. But if some of these other guys can start playing well too in that top 6, I think they can make it. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do anything in the postseason just because
they're a first round exit.
They don't have any. They have no depth, and their goaltending is like meh. So.
And their defense outside Sider, like it's just not. They're not really built for the playoffs. That squad.
Yeah. First. McClellan is the second head coach to win 7 of his first 8 games. The first being Mike Babcock.
No way. Mm-hmm. Was that with the Wings too?
Yeah, that's what I meant. 7 of his first 8 games, not in NHL history. No.
Oh, okay, with the Wings. Yeah, that makes sense.
Just with the Wings. Yeah.
I heard that the Blackhawks were llooking to bring in Mike Babcock.
Oh my God!
Don't even put that out there as a joke, man. Hell no.
Why? So we can go through Connor Bedard's phone?
Yeah.
It's just Bjork memes stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. That is some B-Hawk meme stuff for sure. Oh my God.
All
right.
Like, what was the story there? Like he airplayed like someone's like phone like in the locker room or something. Is that real? Did that actually happen?
I heard it was like in a meeting of sorts. It would be like
unreal.
one-on-one meetings with the players that he'd be like, let me look through your phone or something like that, like looking through their camera rolls and stuff like that. Sort of seeing what the guys were about. I don't know, man. I don't know.
What a weird
that would
guy.
be like, why would you even want to do that? Like, how much shit did he see that he didn't want to,
Yeah, no, you have no idea what's on those phones, man. Jesus.
Yeah, the phones of pro athletes are, know.
Yeah, mine's just memes, so you won't be seeing anything there. But yeah, I could imagine what's going on in their actual lives.
Imagine like the phone of an NBA or NFL player. Oh, shaky cam, Justin.
I keep moving around. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. Just the phone. You don't want to. You're not going to find anything that's going to put a smile on your face on the phone of a pro athlete. I'm sorry, you're just not.
Yeah, I don't think going through somebody's phone ever is like going to lead to good things. It's like that just sounds like a risk.
Yeah,
Bab's just losing his mind.
And so I think Mike Babcock, I heard something funny. And then we'll move off from Detroit Mike Babcock talk. But Mike Babcock has been fired twice since his last NHL game coaching.
Is that right?
Yeah, because he was fired without ever coaching a game with the Blue Jackets. So
that's wild. How do you get fired on your day off? That's insane. That's a Friday reference.
Yeah. All right. Well, 2 other games are on the National Hockey League tonight. You got the Florida Panthers Who are they taking on? Jesus, Tassos.
The Flyers.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, the Philadelphia
That's right.
Flyers. We talked about it on the live stream. How about the Cutter Gauthier return game? We could talk about it on the podcast here.
And then he bounced back with overtime winner the other night. So I guess he circled the wrong game on the calendar there, but good for him, right? That was pretty entertaining, though. I rewatched some of the highlights there. Man, the Flyers fans are just absolutely giving it. I don't know if I've seen something like that since when Tavares returned to New York for the first time. That's probably the last time I can remember something like that. So yeah, stay classy, Philly. But maybe he deserved that. I don't know. Up to you.
And I saw Konechny was like in the game. He's like, "I'll fight you." He was like, "I swear I'll fight you." And then Konechny had a really good quote after the game, just saying that like, yeah, we're kind of just giving him shit. Like, it means a lot to play for this team, and that's something he'll never understand, or something like that. Kind of nails that. That's a quote that if I was a Flyers fan would have me up on my feet. But yeah, it's funny to hear the FU chants in that stadium. That would have been an electric game to be at.
So I heard that. So a couple of points. One, I heard of people like traveling to go to that game, like Flyers fans from Florida and Flyers fans from Texas and Flyers fans from all over going to that game to boo Cutter Gauthier. Number one. Number two, the other part of it too is like, man, if you think of like the history of the Phillies and the Broad Street Bullies and just like
Philly
Bobby Clark and John LeClaire and well, yes, Philly fans are ruthless, but I'm just saying that the Flyers are such a storied organization in the like the history of hockey. When they played the Soviet Union and the Soviet Union left the ice, because the Flyers were playing them too tough and. Like there's like legit history behind there, and I'm not saying it means nothing to be an Anaheim Duck, but like.
Yeah, no, it's
not.
It's
the lore is not even the same stratosphere. No, for sure. The Flyers have that's an organization of aura, right, and a passionate fan base, so big market, right, that loves hockey. So it's kind of shocking. Like they're one of those teams that's going on a long drought without quietly. It's been 50 years since they last won a cup, but I mean the future's definitely looking brighter there. They got a great coach there, Torts and Michkov, so he's him. So they've had some interesting scratches though. Wasn't Farabee scratched recently? Torts will scratch. He'll scratch anyone. That's right. Yeah. So nobody's up a table there in Philly land.
Farabee was a scratch for that game against the Ducks. So yeah. I mean, I think the Cutter Gauthier stuff
has scratched a few times.
Yeah. But I love the Gauthier stuff like that. And then
the drama
afterward saying, like that it's kind of pathetic. Like he's like, oh, I want the fans to get that riled up because of the actual hockey we're playing and. Because we're in a playoff race or a playoff series, and not over like BS like that. He said it in a much more Torts way than I just did, but
yeah,
well, that's just not Torts. That's just not how like humans work.
No.
Like you're not going to find the same motivation for the rest of the season as you are in that game. And like, can you think of a worse American fan base to like do that to than Philly fans? Like
there is none.
They'll let you hear about it.
They're psychopaths. Like you hear about it every year. Like, dude, the Eagles just won yesterday against the Packers. Start of the season, the Eagles are one of the best teams in the league. They were literally beefing with their head coach like all year long, like shouting at him from like Philly fans are a different level of psycho. Obviously, whoever's in Cutter Gauthier's close circle was
led
not
him the wrong way.
Yes. It's like, dude, you're going to be – and this was not just a one-time thing. This is going to happen anytime Cutter Gauthier goes to Philadelphia for the rest of his career.
Got to thank Philly, though. I mean, the Bears and Packers won the same amount of playoff games this year, so props to the Eagles there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Packers.
At least we have a quarterback.
Oh, Williams clears that fraud.
Yeah. 3 picks from Jordan Love. I thought
when the lights are bright, he doesn't show up.
I was told by Packers fans that he was top 5 in the league this year.
That's wild. Is he making $55 million or something too? That's unreal.
Sure it is.
Yeah, and Williams 1-1 should be 2-0 against him, but anyway.
All right, and then we have the Kings and the Oilers tonight. Another potential playoff series between those two on their horizon.
Yeah, for the 4th year in a row. God, I hope that doesn't happen. Well, actually, no, I hope it does happen again because that would just be funny. But yeah,
can they just play every single game for the rest of the year against each other, like no one else? Just let the Kings and the Oilers just play every single night.
Yeah, battle of the Gretzky's there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if the playoffs started today, it would be Kings Oilers right now.
Again? Oh my God.
Yeah,
I said it
'cause-
jokingly, and it actually would be. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
No. If you look at the standings, there's like actually, I don't think there's any chance they don't play each other.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because
Oh yeah.
Vegas is so high up. They're so far above everyone, and then LA's. I don't think Vancouver's gonna catch LA. You know, that's a 5-point gap, and LA's got 2 games on Vancouver. So something crazy would have to happen between now and the postseason for them to not play each other in the first round.
Oh shit, here we go again. Maybe the 4th time will be the charm for the Kings. I don't think so. So if they
almost
said it'll be
probably a
4-game
positive.
series.
It is probably almost a positive for the Kings, like going into something like that, knowing so far in advance that that's what you're prepping for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you know, maybe not right now, like I guess there is still enough where like the Oilers could go on a run, win the Pacific, right? But one, Vegas looks way too good right now to lose that top spot in the Pacific. And 2, like, you know, give it another 15, 20 games here. And it's like, I think if you're the Kings, it's like all focus is on prepping for the Edmonton Oilers.
But
Yeah, I think
there's 2 sides to that coin, though, is because then you got a couple of guys that are pretty good at hockey in Edmonton preparing for LA for a long stretch of time, which I don't think is going to do LA any favors. So
I'm also here like LA is the only team in the league that hasn't played 41 games yet. They're not even halfway through the season. Oh wait, I just realized why. Anyway, never mind. We'll carry on to something else.
Oh, okay. Sure.
I don't want to. Anyway, hopefully everything is going okay over there. Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
No,
'Cause
it's not.
they've had a few postponed games. Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
the game is in
Yeah.
Edmonton tonight, so
Oh, okay. There
that
we
won't
go.
be a
Yeah,
big
that'll be
deal.
an issue. Yeah.
They had a big win. I forget. I think it was over the Jets the other day. And you know, Adrian Kempe, yeah, it was against the Jets, and Adrian Kempe got the overtime winner. And just, you know, that was pretty classy. Just being like, hey, like, you know, Kopitar after the game being like that, you know, a lot of our minds, you know, all those guys' like family live back there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sure some of them may have evacuated, some of them maybe not. But the thing that stinks about the whole LA situation is like, it seems like everybody knows somebody who's lost everything. You know, you don't like live in Los Angeles and be a part of that community and not know somebody who's, you know, just life has been.
There's so much damage. Yeah, it's so
It's a terrible
sad.
situation. Yeah. Hopefully they'll come out of this thing, you know, better. Yeah, but it's not looking too hot at the moment.
Yeah. Let's do a look around the NHL tomorrow. You know, it's so interesting. I was talking about this on my show today. 3 games today, 13 tomorrow.
How many times do we see this?
2 games on Wednesday, 13 again on Thursday, and 2 on Friday. I don't know how many are on Saturday, but
it just baffles my mind, man. Why can't we just do like a 6-7, 6-7, like balance? Like the NHL just hates that. Like they love just front loading these days, then nothing. I don't know. I don't really understand it.
No,
I think you like it though. Yeah, I know y'all. I think you like it.
I don't mind stacking games on days. I just think that they don't really care about what days they stack them on. Like I've said it a million times on this show, but it's like Friday night should be the day where it's hockey night, you know? That should be a day that everybody's playing, you know? And I'm okay with that happening because then also like the days where you only have a couple games, then those are like, you know, those are spotlight games. Like fans from other teams in the NHL will have chances to watch teams because there's only a couple games on. So I don't hate that. It's just like, let's be a little more crafty with the days that we're having 13 games on.
Yeah, that's a fair point for sure.
yeah, I agree.
What do you guys like tomorrow? What do you guys like tomorrow though?
I think I'm circling the Red Wings Sharks game, episode cinema, that one. See if Cater keep his point streak going, and then hopefully shut out Macklin over there. That's a game I'll be watching.
There's quite a bit actually tomorrow. You know, you got the NHL's oldest team against the NHL's newest team, Montreal, Utah, in the late one. You know, Canucks Jets should honestly be a really good game. I'm always like, anytime it's like an all Canadian matchup, like sign me up for it.
Yeah.
So that should be good.
I'll say it for you. I think the Maple Leaf Stars should be a pretty good game.
Thank you.
Two solid teams, just so that Tassos, a resident Maple Leafs fan, doesn't have to say it himself.
They've been playing poorly lately, though.
They have like almost identical records.
Yeah, but
have a
the
couple
Leafs
more games.
Leafs aren't playing good right now. Like they're not. They lost 2 stinkers on the weekend. You know, they lost to Carolina and they got dog walked by Carolina, and then Vancouver went into their building and embarrassed them on Hockey Night in Canada. So, you know, I don't know. The Leafs aren't looking great right now. Also, Boston, Tampa Bay.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Those 2 teams are probably. I would love to, you know, and this is the Maple Leaf in me coming out. I want to see Boston fall out of the playoff race. I really do.
Yeah, I wouldn't shock me if they did too. It's like I know they've been playing a little bit better since the change, but not that much better. I mean, they're kind of in a similar position here in the wild card, and some of these teams behind them all have games in hand too. So I wouldn't shock me if they fell out of this.
Isn't that the outdoor game matchup for next year?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's right. Yeah. Right.
Nice. Good job, Lee.
Good job, Lee.
You gassing yourself up over there. Yeah.
What else tomorrow looks good? Yeah, I don't know.
The Rags
Philly-
and the Avs. Yeah.
Philly, the Blue Jacket. You know, the Blue Jackets are quickly becoming like must-watch television for me too. You know, I never thought I would actually say that, especially this season, but
They're still in the playoff race, man. Like they're in the second wild card right now. It's like I don't think there's a team in the league that's overperforming more than they are right now.
they have the second longest active win streak in the NHL after the Red Wings. They've won 4 in a row.
Wow, that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Philly, Columbus. I feel like that's kind of a little underrated. I feel like that's always been a little bit of a rivalry. Am I wrong in saying that? Like I feel like that's a bit of a thing there. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I might be on to nothing there. I don't know, but yeah.
Here's a question for you guys. What are nowadays, like 2025 we're in, what are the best rivalries in the NHL right now?
Any Canadian matchup, like you said, Battle of Florida is always fun.
I was going to
But
say
that wasn't always fun. That was not like when I was
That's
growing
recency, 2020s.
up,
Yeah.
like those 2 teams like didn't give a crap about one another. And now it's like that's some heated, you know, tensions between the 2 of them.
Hawks Sharks draft lottery rivalry has been pretty intense the last couple of years here.
You know, the Battle of Alberta is still good. It's lost a little luster with the Flames being bad. You know, when we were younger, you know, I would say that like all of the California matchups used to have like weight to them, especially when like all 3 of them were good in the early 2010s, and now it's like, you know, just another hockey game. It feels like for them because they play each other so often that it's like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Is it just me or like NHL rivalries like between teams like not as much of a big deal like anymore? Like I feel like when I was growing up, like there was like these set in stone matchups where it's like these teams hate each other, but now it's like I'm sure it's still a thing, but it just doesn't really feel the same to me. Am I wrong in putting that
No,
out
I
there?
don't think so.
Yeah.
I also think that maybe your perspective's a little different. I mean, I felt the same way, obviously, because when we were in the playoffs every year, we were playing the same. You know, it was the Blues, and then you know we had a couple games against LA, and earlier on, and it was like Vancouver and stuff. But I think now, like you got to imagine that like LA Kings fans, like true LA Kings fans, probably do not like the Edmonton Oilers very much, you know. And there's been some of these matchups that we've seen many times in the East too, like Toronto and Tampa, and like Carolina and the Islanders. So I think it probably still exists. It's just not as much around us anymore.
Yeah, because like when you're a rebuilding team, it's like you only have much rivalries. Like I wouldn't say the Hawks really have any rivalries right now. They try to gas up the Blues in the Winter Classic, but like I wouldn't even call that a rivalry right now. I mean, I don't even know who our biggest rival would be. Probably them, but maybe the Predators, maybe honestly, maybe even the Sharks. But like, yeah, it's that way thing. Like it's a contending teams. And playoff teams. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Islanders Rangers isn't really a thing anymore. Like it was for a couple of years there, like last year I think, and the year before. But like this season, it's like I couldn't tell you if they've even played each other this season.
Yeah, Leafs Bruins, that's still a thing. Yeah,
Leafs
sure.
Bruins is a thing. Leafs Habs isn't really a thing anymore though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Trevor and
Oh,
Chad.
Devils Rangers.
Devils Rangers is a good one now. Bruins Panthers.
Rangers just beat the Devils and celebrated like they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, true.
To stop what was probably like a 3-game skid to you know, like
Bruins Panthers is a growing rivalry, I feel like, over the last couple of years.
Caps Pens a little bit. It's always been a thing. Crosby Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much now, but still kind of is.
But they don't like hate each other. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
no. Yeah, like when I think of teams that hate you, I think of like those 90s, 2000s, like Red Wings, Avalanche. Like those are like that was a rivalry,
Yeah.
And like 2010s, like Hawks, Canucks, stuff like that. Yeah.
So while we were actually talking about the Flyers here, breaking news, the ownership group of the Philadelphia 76ers and Comcast Spectacor on Monday announced plans to build a new arena in South Philadelphia that will open in 2031. The new arena will also be home to the NHL's Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh,
So Philly's getting a
interesting.
new barn.
There we go. Rip Wells Fargo Center, I guess.
Yeah.
Another arena to shit on Cutter Gauthier in. Good for them.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, the Hawks won a Stanley Cup in that building.
Yeah,
True.
dude, that's history. Like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's what a moment that was. I mean, that's kind of. I mean, I was already kind of into hockey, but like that was kind of the moment that really. Oh, that always. That's probably
remember
my
where I
favorite
was,
all
like,
timer.
I remember where I was when that goal went in. That was one of the first Stanley Cup finals where I like remember each game and remember watching it and remember being super invested into it. And
Core memory, a core childhood memory. For sure.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was in my family room. We had our whole family over, and I jumped in my uncle's arms, and he lifted me up because I was a
Oh.
10-year-old baby boy. Fond memory, absolutely.
Yeah, I was at home too. I remember, I think, watching on the upstairs TV, and like, I remember crying one game because they lost, but it's like, oh no, it's like they still got one more here. It's like they're not eliminated, game 6, then they won, and I was just going nuts. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, guys. What else? What else are we feeling right now? Anything?
In terms of, yeah, I don't know.
In terms of the National Hockey League?
Yeah,
I think the other night, last night, Tampa became the first team with 3 players with 20 goals.
Gensel, Kucherov, and Point.
Hagel.
Oh,
It's
Hagel.
yeah.
Oh, it's Hagel.
Yeah, Hagel's had a season. He has what, 48 points at 41 games, if I'm not mistaken. Man,
He scored a goal last night against the Pens that was gross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I miss
Little
him.
inside-outside move and just, sniped it.
Oh,
Yeah,
actually,
great.
sorry, they have 4 now because Kucherov had a couple last night. So Kucherov's one as well. So it's Kucherov, Hagel, Point, and Gensel.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was right when I said Braden Point.
Yeah.
There you go.
All
Wow.
right. We mentioned Patrick Kane was the 3rd star of the week. The other 2, Jordan Stahl is the 2nd star of the week. 7 points in 4 games for Jordan Stahl, highlighted by a hat trick against the Maple Leafs. And then Connor Hellebuck, 2-0, or 2 wins, 960 save percentage, and
Unreal.
1.0 GAA. I feel like I said this and you guys scoffed at me. I don't know when I said this, if it was on a show or a stream or what. But Connor Hellebuck's in the Hart Trophy discussion right
Oh,
now.
yeah. I think he'd probably be leading it for me.
He is.
I mean, when's the last time a goalie's won the Hart, actually? Now that I think about it.
Carey Price.
That's right. Yeah.
Carey Price was the last one. But
Yeah.
I think he's definitely in the mix now, especially because my Hart
Has
Trophy
to
pick, Kaprizov, hasn't played in a little while. So,
And there's no goalies that are even really in the same realm as him right now. I mean, it's just so consistent every week. I mean, he is that team right now. I mean, I know the Jets are a good team. Like, he's definitely, kind of putting him on his back a little bit.
yeah.
His numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah.
What is it now? Like 220, 920, something like that?
Yeah, 928 save percentage
In
and
today's NHL?
202 goals against. He's leading in both categories by a pretty good margin.
Like, those numbers would not be that unthinkable 10 years ago, but now for a goalie, that's ridiculous. And he's playing almost every game, too. Like, he's a throwback. Really is.
Yep. Agreed.
My fantasy team loves him.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. What else? You guys have
He's
any?
projected to play 63 games.
That's the thing with Hellebuck to me. That's always been a problem. I've said this last season on my
In the
show.
playoffs. Yeah.
Well, they overplay him in the regular season because they have Eric Comrie as their backup, and they want to win regular season games because they want to fill up the barn because Winnipeg's had attendance issues. So they overplay Hellebuck, and then they have nothing left.
Yeah.
He's got nothing left to give when the playoffs come around.
Yeah, we'll see if it's a thing once again this season. Yeah.
Oh boy. I have a feeling like it's not going to be if they don't find a way to give him some rest, but I don't
Can they
know.
like trade for a better backup or something and like just rest him the rest of the season? Like or not the rest of it, but you know what I mean? Make it more of a 1A, 1B thing. Yeah.
I mean, you'd hope if you're a Winnipeg Jets fan, but I don't know
Hey,
that
do y'all
that's
want
gonna
Peter
happen.
Mrazek off our hands?
Well, the thing is like if Calgary can squeak into the playoffs and they can finish first in the conference, they could get Calgary first round, which could be a very winnable round for them. But as of right now, I think they'd be playing Vancouver.
I think they'd win that one.
They'd be playing Vancouver or Colorado. So
Colorado, no. Colorado whipped them like last year.
You guys think Connor Hellebuck can reach a 930 save percentage?
Nah. Maybe not like 925 ish.
I think he was over it like last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we still have almost half the season left. I don't. I mean, yeah, he could, but I'd be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody asks if the playoffs started today, who are we looking at to win?
Cup favorite. I don't
Or
want to be
mid-season
boring.
Cup favorite?
Yeah, I don't want to be boring and pick the Panthers again because I want to go for a more off the board pick, but and the Stars are an off the board pick. That's an obvious one, but I feel like it's hard to go against them. I mean, they've been knocking on the door for a few years here. I feel like this would be their year. I favor them over the Oilers, to be honest.
I was going to say the Dallas Stars too here, but I'm going to go through a little more in depth why. First round, as of right now, they'd be playing Minnesota. I think they can beat Minnesota. I know Minnesota's impressed.
Playoff frauds.
I think they're a good team, but I think that I would pick the Dallas Stars in a 7-game series, and then in the second series they would be playing the Jets or like Vancouver, Calgary. Again, another winnable series, and then all of a sudden you're in the conference finals there. And so I think they'd have a relatively easier path than a lot of teams. So, yeah, I'll say Dallas Stars.
How about you, Tassos?
I got a couple of thoughts, Like, I'm looking at some of these teams, and they all have a flaw to me, except for the Panthers and,
It's hard to not like Florida.
It's hard to not like Florida. Like, I would love a rematch of last year's Cup final. I've said that before on this show. My heart says the Maple Leafs. I don't know that the Capitals really are going to be able to win 4 rounds in the playoffs. Like, maybe they win 1 round. Maybe they win 2. I like the Carolina Hurricanes a lot. Like, I think they are probably like my off the board Stanley Cup pick right now, which I don't think is too crazy off the board. But I just I love Peter Kochetkov a lot. I got to like chat with him a bunch when he was with the Wolves and I was with the Wolves. And he was just such a fun, bubbly guy. And I thought he should have been in the NHL when he was there with me with the Wolves. And yeah, I just I'm really high on him, and they lost Shane Pesci, and they brought back Shane Gostisbehere, and it looks good in Carolina, like it always does, right? Like they're just the Carolina Hurricanes. Like I forgot who I was listening to, but it's like you look at like they have a couple of guys on the team like Svechnikov, and outside of Svechnikov though, they all look like the same hockey player. Like every player on the Hurricanes looks like the exact same hockey player, and it's the
Avalanche
Carolina
like
Hurricane. Yeah, I mean the Avalanche look like that, but they stink. Outside of their top guys, but like Svechnikov is like the one guy that I look at that I'm like, oh, that dude's like different than everybody else. And I know Aho is like probably. I know we say Barkov's like the underrated NHL forward. I think Sebastian Aho is the like. He's taken that from Barkov because Barkov has gotten his flowers now.
He's no longer underrated.
Yeah, he's no. But I think, Sebastian Aho is unreal. But he looks the same as like, Jordan Stahl kind of, and like just like some of these guys, like they all just like look like Hurricanes to me. So that is my off the board pick. Otherwise like Vegas maybe, is in the mix, but the goaltending still is shaky to me. I know Aiden Hill's been better lately than his early season run, but I still don't know that he's like the guy. I think what is also going to be an interesting point too, and maybe we can wrap the show on this, is like what the Four Nations face-off is going to do for some players that haven't experienced international best-on-best competition ever in their careers.
Bang some guys up.
Yeah, like I know I bring up the Maple Leafs a bit here, but like I think of guys like Marner, Matthews, Nylander, guys that like haven't won anything. I might have
It
shared
could
this
serve as
take
like
in the
playoff
show.
experience, even though it's a different tournament. It could give them kind of that confidence boost come playoff time, maybe.
Yeah, and just like being around winners and stuff, and I've heard takes that like. I don't know if we brought this up, but like apparently Mika Zibanejad was offered 1-for-1 for JT Miller. And I think the Canucks ended up saying no to that one.
Yeah, that's
but then it's like, oh,
move.
Zibanejad and Pettersson are about to link up together on Team Sweden, right?
Yeah, that's not awkward.
Well, no, I think it is. I think it's interesting because like guys who like maybe want to play with each other, almost a la NBA, right? Like, oh, I want to play with this guy, or hey, I would like to play with this guy, or hey, that was really fun. Like, let's get together on our NHL club teams. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think Four Nations leading into the trade deadline is going to make for some spicy content.
Yeah, I'm intrigued for this Four Nations tournament, right? I mean, I think it could go a few directions there, but I'm more excited to watch this than, all the all-star festivities and stuff. I've never really been that into it, so I think this should be more entertaining than that. I just wish it was more than Four Nations. I wish Czechia and Russia were in it, but I don't understand why not, though. Yeah.
To continue underrated talk, Aho and Barkov, underrated, playing for Finland, underrated.
Lee has like $1,000 on Finland to win the Four Nations.
I might put a bet on Finland to win Four Nations, or at least something else. Because
not a true American over there. I'm just kidding.
No, I just think just like I said with the World Juniors, I think they've got as good of a shot as anybody. Their roster is sick. Yeah, you don't think that like guys like Barkov and Aho are gonna ball up in Four Nations? Like everyone's talking about USA, Canada, but like those guys are studs, So it's literally all the best players in the NHL. So I think any of them can win. I think the fact that Finland's odds are as crazy as they are is almost disrespect.
Yeah. All right. You guys want to wrap the show there?
Yeah, I don't think I got anything else, but yeah, hopefully the Hawks could hopefully they come away with a dub here. We definitely need one for sure. Yeah.
Is it me and Tassi, me and Mr. Sos on post game, or is it all three, or what's the?
No, I think it's just you and I tonight, Lee, on the post game.
Okay, Justin gets a night off. Hopefully we get a good dub tonight. I don't have to get a tattoo.
Yeah, I hope the Flames win tonight and you get a tattoo.
That's actually that's maybe I should break them. Well, actually, yeah, that could work out nicely. Actually, it wouldn't be one that I'd be too upset about now because I think Tassos has been very like, oh, it's not going to happen, but I think it'd be pretty funny if it did.
Yeah, also help get us to 1,000 subscribers, so Lee has to get another tattoo too. That one would be much better.
Made that up. That was fabricated.
Nobody made that up. You.
Cody does have enough tattoos there. If you're watching it, he doesn't really have many there.
We did do. If you guys didn't watch the live stream the other night, make sure you catch the next one. But yeah, the last live stream we did tattoo talk for a while, so that was fun.
We did we did a lot of different talks.
Yeah.
On the live stream on Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of topics covered. Like Shrek as well was in there too.
Yeah. All right. That's it from CHR for today, except for the post-game show. So that's actually not it from CHR for today, but that's it for this podcast. Watch the Winter Classic vlog under bonus content on on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. Holy cow. Follow us on Instagram. Make a couple burners. Follow us on Instagram. Tell your dog to follow us on Instagram, your uncle. Lee's got the snail moving across. Yeah, the disco snail. Is that a snail with a disco ball as its shell?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And we will see everybody later tonight after the game against the Flames.
All right.